This is very important. This is by far the best one of these little audio things that I have done. It is the audio version of my blog post of the condensation of all of the posts of Eric Barker's blog, Barking Up the Wrong Tree, Bakadesuyo. So, this covers all of the basics of what it takes to succeed in life, from willpower to motivation to relationship skills to persuasion in some contexts and other things. It's very important. I highly recommend you listen to this whole thing. It's gold. And I also highly recommend you rip this off of YouTube, put it on a CD, listen in your car, listen until your mind really absorbs it, and then put these tenets of success into practice in your own life. And without further ado, let's get into it. Willpower. Improving self-control in one area of life tends to improve all areas of life. People who get on a fitness plan, study more, often see more discipline in other areas of life. Make things habits so they don't use willpower. Doing something every day is the best and is actually easier than doing something 3 times a week. Reduce the number and complexity of daily decisions. Eat good carbs like bananas and sweet potatoes to replenish your willpower. Willpower is very much dependent on blood glucose level. Willpower improves relationships, and relationships improve willpower. Positive interactions build willpower. Good relationships lower your stress response itself. For more information on that, see my review of the Happiness Advantage. Do the most willpower-intensive things as early in the day as possible. Distract yourself with something productive. Willpower is tied to attention. Focusing on something else will increase your self-control because you're not focused on the craving. Here's a sneaky persuasion tip. If you want to persuade someone, offer them something tempting that they will say no to. This resisting will use up some of their willpower, and they'll have less to fight your persuasion with. Motivation. Reframe nervousness as excitement. For example, I am excited to get something done, or I am excited to give this speech. Don't calm down. Nervous energy is powerful. Turn it into excitement energy and use it. Listen to the Rocky theme and other motivational music. Any music that physically energizes and uplifts you is good for motivation. Watch motivating movies. Have a ritual. Athletes warm up, pianists play scales, etc. Good luck charms and superstition actually improves performance. Belief matters. If you have magic boxing gloves, for whatever reason, because of your mind, it actually will improve your boxing, for example. Focus on meaning. Remember how what you are doing fits into the world and contributes to what matters to you. Take ownership. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to crush it. Face your fears. Hiding from fear makes it worse. Face it and overcome it. Foster optimism. Don't be in denial. See the world clearly, but believe in your abilities. Have hope because you are going to make it happen. Celebratory rewards build good habits. Eat after you exercise, for example. Recharge by being active, not passive. Getting some more wins or spending time with friends will recharge you. A TV binge will not. Accumulate small wins daily. Things like daily exercise really count. Daily small wins are best. Systems, not goals for this, all the way around. Just showing up is much better than not showing up. Staying calm under extreme pressure. 1. Emphasize the positive and focus on what you can control. 2. Ignore the what-if questions. The what-if questions should have been dealt with in the planning stage, where you should absolutely think, what if? But while you are executing your plan, you should not be thinking of all the things that could be going wrong at any minute. Number 3, focus on the next step. Shut out the useless thoughts. The Special Ops Pep Talk. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Here's why it's important. Here's why I know you can do it. Think about what you've done together before. Now let's go and do it. You can use that on yourself too. Mindset. Positive self-talk is key. Navy SEALs, all winners, have positive self-talk. When they go up against a challenge, they think they can do it. They shut out those questioning thoughts, those thoughts that say you aren't good enough. They have positive self-talk. Self-compassion is much more important than self-esteem. Stop beating yourself up. Forgive yourself. Take slow, deep breaths to lower stress. Listen to uplifting music. Watch a cute puppy video or play with a real one. Control what you can, ignore the rest. Accept everything, but don't be passive. Events don't upset you, beliefs do. Challenges are opportunities if you frame them as such. Reframe everything into the most effective frame. Tell yourself bad things aren't permanent, pervasive, or personal, but good things are. Practice visualization. Don't fantasize about getting what you want, but imagine yourself overcoming specific obstacles. This image in your mind will often be the correct solution to the problem. Maintain a feeling of control over your situation. Emotional preparation. Consider how things could be worse. Relationships, general and romantic. Choose who you surround yourself with very carefully. They will make you who you are. In a romantic relationship, make sure you can accept your partner as is. Don't be with someone you feel has an attribute you need to change. Remember that ideological and moral similarity is number one for long-term relationship success. Fixing yourself is the best step towards a better relationship. The main relationship killer is frequent criticism of your partner or frequent criticism by your partner. Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling are the 4 horsemen of a relationship. If your partner has no attributes or beliefs that are deal breakers, be willing to accept their minor problems as is. Really know the other person as thoroughly as possible. Before bed, talk to your partner about how their day went. This is a very good ritual. Start all conversations positively, even if you have to go into negative information. And this is a great tip for all communication. Express deep appreciation and admiration for your partner. Try to see them as just a bit better than they are. Give your partner affection, physical and emotional. Be honest with your partner and don't get mad at them for being honest. All but the widest lies do harm. The truth can be a weapon, of course. This isn't permission to use facts as criticism. Support your partner's goals. Help them get what they want. Celebrate your partner's successes. Be their biggest fan. Kill the boring dates. Do new and exciting things. Dancing, suspenseful movies, learning new things together. And this is good advice for doing things with friends as well. Exciting beats boring all the time. Having no communication is much worse than having negative communication. More talking equals a happier relationship. Of course, what you talk about matters. Seek their thoughts and opinions without judging them. A great first date is something that creates excitement and energy. Share things about yourself and respond positively when your partner does the same. Couples who put a positive spin on their marriage's history or on their relationship's history are likely to have a happy future. Want to be attractive? Make yourself look good, emphasize similarities, and let them know you're picky, but you do like them. Stop trying to fix the bad and focus on relishing the good. Stop assuming you can read someone's mind. If you don't understand why someone did something, ask. If you want to improve your relationship, do all these things and don't expect your partner to change overnight. Be the change you want to see and all that. You know? Relationships equal health. 3 times as powerful as exercise. I'll repeat that. Relationships equal health. And the effect has been shown to be 3 times as powerful as exercise. Now, online relationships don't count. Use technology to arrange relationships, not to replace them. Cement a relationship by asking for a favor. When you ask people for favors, they actually like you more. Throw parties and schedule get-togethers with many of your friends. 3 golden questions. How can I help you? What ideas do you have for me? Who else do you know that I should talk to? If you didn't catch what someone said or can't think of a response, simply parrot their last 2 or 3 words in a sympathetic, questioning tone. Say positive and pleasant things about friends and colleagues when with others. Have at least 5 good moments for every bad one in a relationship. Ask them about something positive in their life. Only after they reply should you ask them how they're feeling about life in general. The positive answer to the first question will persuade them to think of their whole life positively. So this is a good way to get people to actually think more of themselves and of their life. To give feedback, ask questions. Don't criticize friends and allies head on unless you have to, and then do it in private. Connect before you correct, and this works in negotiations as well. Fully hear them out, confirm that you understand what they are saying, confirm that they understand you get their position, repeat their position back to them so they say, "That's right." State your position in the most persuasive way possible. Remember to frame it in terms of the other person's interests. Happiness. Do what you're good at / become very good at what you do. Something you can achieve flow state regularly with. See my review of flow for more information on flow. Minimize emotional pain. Physical pain is fine, but emotional pain does wear you down. Do things you enjoy more often. And don't take this as a watch more TV or play more video game thing. That's laziness, not true emotional enjoyment. Listen to uplifting and motivational music. Give attention to the good, interpret things positively, and enjoy happy memories. Maximize smiling, even fake. Maximize laughing. Focus on the good, and you will feel good. Do things that are new, different, surprising. Have a sense of humor, teasing, jokes, etc. Help others as much as possible. Invest in others. Success doesn't bring happiness. Happiness brings success. Have a strong social support base with many people you have deep connections and frequent positive interaction with. This is 70% of happiness, so I will repeat it. Have a strong social support base with people you have deep connections and frequent positive interactions with. There is nothing else more important for your happiness and, frankly, also for your health, your success, for everything. Being human is having deep and positive connections with other people. Live for a grand purpose far more important than yourself. Exercise. Cardio over weights for happiness, but do both. Have a lot of sex and minimize masturbation. Substantive talk builds happiness. Small talk doesn't. Anticipating happy events in the future will make you happy. Use negative emotions as signals you need to change what you are doing. Don't wallow in the state. It's your beliefs about the world that causes distress, not the world itself. If you choose to self-identify as a happy person, your happiness will increase. Leadership. Effective leaders build on strengths. Their own strengths, the strengths of their superiors, colleagues, and subordinates. And on the strengths in the situation, on what they can do. They do not build on weakness. Touch people to get your point across. Effective handshakes, elbow touches, all that. You know what the body language of leaders are. They touch people, literally. Complement effort, process, and choices, not ability. Respond positively to failure. Work harder, set the example, and your subordinates will follow. Have competence, confidence, and warmth. Very important. Be moderately overconfident. Ask, what advice would I give my best friend in this situation? Get out of the office and circulate among the troops. Persuade rather than coerce. Praise your people, especially when someone does something right. Encourage innovation. Praise and encourage people who have solutions to problems or who find problems others can see. Promote that behavior. Influence people through storytelling. Be genuinely interested in the ability of your followers. Do everything you can to build them up. Look the part. In whatever you're doing, leaders look a certain way. Look the part. Always work hard to improve. When choosing tasks and strategies, consider your natural gifts. Pick a great team and get familiar with them. Within reason, always help others. Your voice should be deep, speak slowly, pause, drop intonation, not rise. Have deep breathing and speak loudly. Interestingly, the presidential candidate with the deepest voice has won the popular vote in all elections since 1960. Never excuse ineffective behavior because it's just who you are. The ultimate metric of leadership is simply the success rate for the team's goals. Creating strong relationships with as many people in the organization as possible is vital. During a crisis, be tough and decisive, but always have warmth, humor, and speak to the emotions of your followers. Followers are made happy by achievement, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, and advancement. Followers are most often made dissatisfied by policies, supervisors, and work conditions. Many leaders develop hubris by being in an environment where everyone agrees with them and praises them. Overcome this by having independent-minded advisors of varying degrees of nervousness, paranoia, intellect, all those things that are important with people who see problems coming. Talk to the people on the front lines and ask them to be as honest as possible about the situation. Understand they will exaggerate or underplay as well, but will be much better than the sycophants and the bureaucrats. The goal of management is consistency and order. The goal of leadership is to motivate and create necessary change. Knowing your limitations is key to being a great leader. Always be trying to improve, but if you aren't good enough at something, then give that responsibility to someone else. The least effective leaders are those we regard as cold and inept. Remember, be warm, confident, and project authority. Inspire by showing people the importance of their jobs. Culture is what you do, not what you say. Not knowing what is going on is lethal to a person in a position of power. Even appearing to be unaware makes a leader lose face. Getting rid of the bad first is the hallmark of a great leader. Remember, you become like the people you surround yourself with, so you must pick very wisely as a leader. Personnel equals policy. You can work too hard. Get 8 hours of sleep. Move quickly to deal with people issues. Anger conveys competence. Get angry and driven to accomplish the mission. Use of visualization and visual descriptiveness in speech increases charisma. Consistency in tone is extremely persuasive. Hiring smart, driven people is a ticket to your own success. The best predictor of team success is not smarts or effort, it's how team members feel about one another. Look for great colleagues, role models, and teachers. Good leaders are supportive and create group harmony. They are not harsh and aloof. Look for the obviously bright people who are struggling in spots where they're all but set up to fail. Move them where they will do better, and steal these people from other organizations. Realize that teams that report the most errors may actually be great people. They aren't the people sweeping it under the rug. The minority of your people will cause the majority of results. Treat these people very well. Leaders spend most of their time with others. How to tell if a team is full of denial. The conversations after a meeting are a lot more honest than the ones in the meeting. Be specific. Clearly specify to your followers what it takes to do a good job. Fire people rather than forcing them to resign. It is terrible for morale to slowly wear someone down so they leave. Creativity increases outside of a group setting. Encourage people to come up with ideas and bring them to you outside of meetings. Teams aren't always the best idea. Having people work on their own can increase productivity significantly, depending on the task. Assigning roles to the people in a team is the best way to increase team productivity. Speak slowly and clearly. Use all the symbols of leadership. Use social proof. Leaders who move into a new area often fail. If they bring their team with them, they usually succeed. A successful leader knows as much as he can about the mission, believes in the mission, communicates the mission clearly, points the way, and gets out of the way. Presentation skills. Punch. A strong opener. Humor. A story. Show gratefulness. Project into the future. One theme. The one message you want the audience to remember for sure. Window. Visualize with anecdotes. Ear. Speak conversationally. Retention. Summarize at end. Ask audience to do one thing if you need them to do it. Anxiety level drops after a few minutes into a presentation, so have the intro well rehearsed, and it will get you through the toughest part of the talk. Motivating others as a leader. Stop bribing. Show your followers why what they are doing matters. Make them feel something. Use emotion. Use persuasion techniques. Emphasize progress. Start a cult with a story. Also, frame through metaphor, stories, and anecdotes. Demonstrate moral conviction. Share the sentiments of the collective. Set high expectations. Communicate confidence. Use rhetorical devices such as contrasts, lists, and rhetorical questions together with non-verbal tactics such as body gesture. Having good facial expression and animated voice tone is important. Keep in mind the other aspects of the voice mentioned above. Always remember, never forget where you came from, and always remember what you are here for. Be true to your values and faith. You are here for a purpose. Learning. Be in it for the long haul. Find a mentor. Start with what's most important. Train like you fight. For example, if you are a musician, practice correctly playing your song on a stage. Practice, practice, practice. Train at a level that is difficult but not impossible. Get fast feedback from yourself, others, or reality. Practicing tests is more important than studying. Sleep is crucial for learning. It's often try different, not try harder. It's about doing, not knowing. Study the past, study the greats in whatever you are learning. See how they dealt with your problem. Break things down as much as you need to. Making friends. Contact old friends and catch up. Use existing friends to make new ones. Listen and seek similarity. Ask them to tell you more. Be interested in them. Talk a good deal more about them than yourself. Check in every 2 weeks minimum. Start a group. Celebrate their good news and accomplishments. Celebrating someone's good times is the key to connecting with them. Know their hooks and hot buttons. Talk to them about things they like. Avoid things they don't like. Ask for advice. It will flatter who you are talking to. Hang out with people you want to be like. Introduce friends to friends. Be engaged, enthusiastic, curious, and have supportive nonverbal action. Ask questions. Be excited. Ask for details. Smile, touch, laugh. Ask open-ended questions like how, when, and why. When speaking to someone who is introverted or who thinks they have been talking too much, giving some personal information can help. Mirror their body language unless it is hostile or bad. Give gifts, sincere compliments, or actual material gifts. Make sure the other person walks away better for having met you. Small talk. Put others at ease. Put yourself at ease. Talk to all in a group. Add them to the conversation with questions like, "What do you think of that, X?" Establish shared interests. Actively pursue your own interests. Not too much, though. With a serious topic or a good friend, people measure a conversation's success by how enthralled they were with what the other person said. The less familiar the other person, or the more trivial the topic, the likelier people are to rate the experience by their own performance. Discussion should enlarge by exploratory increments. Pace matters. You can't dive too deep, too fast. If in doubt, the stair to intimacy has 4 steps. Courtesies. Hello, how are you? Trade information. So, what brought you here? Trade opinion. Isn't this music unusual? Trade feeling. Yup, I hate it. Pose questions that circle the personal. Note whether the other person prefers a sharp or gentle approach and adapt accordingly. Although small talk aims to please, don't make this too obvious. With these following things, the higher the number, the better. Number 6, a shared feeling or experience. Number 5, confirmation of an emotion's legitimacy. Number 4, pursuit of the topic. Number 3, acknowledgement. Number 2, implicit recognition, but changing the topic. Number 1, perfunctory recognition, autopilot. 0, denial or contradiction. Hear what people are really saying as opposed to what they are telling you. Directness is a privilege of intimacy if you want the person to like you. There are exceptions, but this is good as a rule. End the conversation by saying how good it was to see them, or just bringing up that you're out of time. Negotiation. Have an alternative and know what your market value is. Preparation is what wins negotiations. Use a power prime. Take a moment to think about a time you felt powerful, and you'll act more powerful. Use perspective taking, not empathy. Understand their needs, but don't feel their needs. If you have good information, always make the first offer. Get anchoring on your side. Use precise numbers. Giving them options can help. Talk about the future. Make them picture a deal in the future so they are incentivized to be more fair in the current deal. If they are in the wrong emotional state, use additional time. Wait until their mood changes. Speaking of mood, do deals after you both have eaten, as it improves mood so much. Wine and dine. Your behavior is contagious. Act how you want them to act. Remember the advice from Sell or Be Sold. Provide great service, be agreeable, etc. There are some really tough negotiations, but you might as well start off this way. It is even more important to know hooks and hot buttons in a negotiation than while making friends. It's very valuable to have things you don't want in a negotiation, so you can give them away for things you do want. Focus on influencing them, not being passive and waiting for them to decide. If you want to influence them, be clear and consistent. Act with a purpose. Don't react. Decide how you want them to act and what you need to do to encourage that. Small talk before a negotiation is good. Be careful what behavior you reward. Your first goal in every negotiation should be to find out more. Always begin with the frame, should this deal be made, not how should I make this deal. Anytime someone presents a benchmark number, evaluate it, don't just accept it. Ask, where did that number come from? If either side wins all the time, it will not be a successful ongoing relationship. You should want to win each one, but not to win them all. Being perceived as fair is key, and this is for normal negotiations. Sometimes people don't know what their problem is. You need to figure it out and solve it for them. If you can show them that you understand their reasons, you take away the "you don't get it" defense. If you can explain their argument even better than they can, it shows you understand, and they'll be much more receptive to your point of view. Don't make their arguments sound stupid. Always attach a fairness argument to whatever you propose. Here's what I'm offering, and here's why it works for you. Know your alternatives. One of the most powerful negotiation techniques can be to make it impossible for you to do the deal on terms less than you want, i.e., the money is in the hands of a third party who will not release the funds unless you do the deal. Paint a picture of how bad it will be for the both of you if the deal does not work out. Nobody wants this result. You need to have a strategy for uncommitting people who use self-limiting options, i.e., I only have $50. If someone says, take it or leave it, don't respond. Wait. If they're still there a minute later, you know it wasn't legit. Change the subject and keep going. How do you know if they're lying? Make them talk a lot. Long, involved lies are harder to tell than short lies. What should you ask for? The most aggressive thing you can request with a straight face, and you need a reason why it's fair. After a negotiation, always ask, what did the other side do well that I can learn? Practice with a partner. Don't just read theory. Goal setting. Ask, what do I want to be? Over, What do I want? Both are useful. Regularly remind yourself. Post-it notes. Read your goals after waking. Play a CD while driving of a recording of you reading your goals. Getting shit done. Schedule your deep work. No distractions. Have a dedicated environment where you can do nothing but work. Stop wasting time. You can cut out a lot of what you are currently doing. See my review of The One Thing. Make it a game to see how much you can get done. Try to do your absolute best. Control your environment or it will control you. Optimize your workspace for what you need to achieve. Have a war room that contains what you need and nothing else. More work means you need more social support, and giving support is better than receiving. See problems as challenges, not threats. Get your to-dos out of your head and onto one document. Then schedule when you will do these things. Opt for good enough on the little decisions so you can focus on the big ones. Regularly capture, triage, and prioritize new items. Work hard and become an expert. Less shallow work, focus on the deep stuff. When in a tough situation, move from denial to acceptance as fast as possible. Before you try to do it faster, ask whether it should be done at all. Focus is nothing more than eliminating distractions. Blitz in the mornings. Get all the must-be-done shit out of the way. Tackle similar tasks at the same time. You can have whole days or even more devoted to one area. This increases efficiency because switching between tasks eats up time to retool your focus. Almost everything will require more money and more time than you think. Do one thing at a time. Having a bad attitude / not doing things to be liked by coworkers and boss holds people back more than almost anything else. Energy, not time, is the fundamental currency of high performance. You are how you spend your time. Game. Want to settle down? Ask a family member if they know anyone. You are far more likely to find a future spouse through a family member. In fact, any sort of organized group is a good bet. 60% of those surveyed met their future spouse through school, work, bad idea, church, etc. Romantic relationships with work partners usually don't last and can have terrible consequences. 17% of people who have dated online met a spouse or long-term relationship partner there. I still think it's a last resort, but there you go. Conscientiousness is the personality trait correlated with happy marriages. Look for formality of dress and signs of someone who is neat and organized. Liking the taste of beer correlates with promiscuity in a woman amazingly well. If a woman laughs at your sex-related jokes, she is likely sexually interested in you, though it may indicate she isn't long-term relationship material. Establish that you are hard to get in general, but very enthusiastic about the person you're with. Being humorous is sexy. Being a clown or a goof isn't. Stating that you are interested in them helps. Emotional, personal information exchange promotes powerful feelings of connection. When a woman is very attracted to a man, whether his pickup line is good or not doesn't matter at all. People don't really fall in love with a person. They fall in love with how they feel when they're with that person. Feeling excited, stimulated, and aroused is often associated with the people around us, even if they're not the cause. Do exciting shit with your date. The actual key to telling whether somebody's lying or not is not a change in behavior nor a specific behavior. What you do is you norm a person. You get to know what they're like when they're relaxed. And then when you ask them difficult questions, look for behavioral changes. That's how you tell if they're lying. Dating profile pic. The best pose for men is mysteriously aloof, unsmiling, looking off camera while you are doing something interesting or in a cool place. Red makes both men and women look more sexy and powerful. Two types of flirting are universal: smiling and eye contact. Touching is the most effective form of flirting. Friendly touching, a shoulder push, a shoulder tap, handshake. Plausible deniability, touch around the shoulder or waist, touch on the forearm. Nuclear, face touch. If she is speaking smoothly and quickly, that is a good sign. Men who were manipulative, arrogant, calculating, and sly got more poon than the nice guys, of course. Happiness was the most attractive female emotion expression, and one of the least attractive in males. In contrast, pride showed the reverse pattern. It was the most effective male expression and one of the least attractive in women. Staying calm is sexy. For partners, men want beauty, women want status. Here's an interesting quote. Successful men directed more brief glances at their date, engaged in a greater number of space maximization movements, like extending one arm across an adjacent chair, stretching so that both arms extend straight up in the air, etc. They changed their location in the bar more frequently. They displayed greater amounts of non-reciprocated touching to surrounding men, like playfully touching, just touching, or elbowing the ribs of other men. Classic alpha behavior. Dating. Assumed to be first date, but a lot of this works for all. Talk travel, not movies. Add to what they say and bounce the ball back. Don't dominate the conversation or be a non-contributor. Share secrets. Exchange emotional, personal information to build connection. Choose controversial over dull every time. Like, how many romantic partners did you have? When was your last breakup? Do you have any STDs? Have you ever broken someone's heart? The amount a couple kissed was proportional to the stated level of relationship satisfaction. Before kissing a girl, adjust her hair. If she didn't flinch, you should be good to go. And make sure you have good breath. Also, girls like neck kisses. Dates at night have a much higher chance of leading to keno and sex. Next is a list of intimacy building questions. Ask at least a few per date. Question 1. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? 2. Would you like to be famous? In what way? 3. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? Why? 4. What would you constitute a perfect day for you? 5. When did you last sing to yourself, to someone else? 6. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? 7. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. 8. For what in your life did you feel most grateful? 9. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? 10. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? 11. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? 12. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? 13. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? 14. What do you value most in a friendship? 15. What is your most treasured memory? 16. What is your most terrible memory? 17. What does friendship mean to you? 18. What roles do love and affection play in your life? 19. How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's? 20. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share ... 21. If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. 22. Tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met. 23. Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. 24. When did you last cry in front of another person? By yourself. 25. Tell your partner something that you like about them already. 26. What's the most unexpected thing you've learned along the way? 27. If you could call yourself 5 years ago and had 30 seconds, what would you say? 28. What would you do with your time if you could afford to quit your job? 29. Someone gets a text message from you, and for whatever reason, they're not sure it's actually you. They're worried that someone might have stolen your phone. What could they ask to make sure it's really you? 30. What's the craziest belief, the one that fewest educated people will agree with you, that you hold? Why do you believe it? Parenting. Your job is to provide a safe space to grow, not to systematically build Frankenstein. Under 6, they need play. School-age kids need teaching. Help them build skills, cooking, etc. Teenagers need apprenticeships. They need to learn how to learn without you, and that means real-world experience. Emphasize values over rules. Praise character, not actions. Explain how bad behavior affects others. Work on yourself. Increase your own happiness and reduce your stress, and this will have a big effect on your kids. Autonomy. Want them to be successful adults? Make sure they have a say in what they do. Include them in planning process for their goals and all that other stuff. Communicate. Family meals make a big difference. Tell them their family history. Very important. Community. Their peers have more influence than you do. Get them in the right peer group. Very, 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 very important right there. Get happy yourself. You are the role model. Teach them to build relationships. Expect effort, not perfection. Teach optimism. Teach emotional intelligence. Form happiness habits. Teach self-discipline. Rig their environment for happiness. Having pets really helps. Set ground rules and consistently enforce them. You know how much is too much. Settling arguments peacefully in front of kids is a good thing. It teaches them. Spend time with your family. Quality time is best, but just being around increases love. Tell your spouse and children that you love them every day, no matter how you feel. Be part of a larger community. Telling stories kids can relate to may dramatically increase their desire to learn. Habits. Start the day happy. Listen to positive music. Exercise. Have fun. Eat. Take distractions out of your work environment. Make sure where you work doesn't get used for entertainment or anything else. Same thing with your bed, or your sleep might get messed up. Also, getting rid of distractions anywhere does nothing but help. In changing habits, start with keystone habits like exercise, sleep, diet, and mood regulation. Plan how you'll deal with challenges to a habit, i.e., if you're on a vacation, to keep exercising, you might do 50 push-ups and body squats in your hotel room. The more you focus, the better at it you get. Be proactive, not reactive. Body language. To be more likable, smile and use open body movements, no squishing. To be more influential, think about your goals. Upbeat to sell, calm to reduce resistance. To be seen as a leader, think power and warmth. Maintain good posture, don't be an asshole. To be more attractive, guys should follow the leadership postures and ladies the likable ones. Deepening voice and touching, say flirting. True for both men and women. First impressions are often accurate. Miscellaneous. Playing love songs while with a date increases her number of romantic thoughts. When creating messages that go against someone's beliefs or are viewed as unethical, playing positive music in the background increases the persuasiveness. Self-control, aka conscientiousness, is an even greater predictor of success than IQ. The idea that you can't get rid of a habit, you can only replace it, is bullshit. You can absolutely use willpower and mindfulness to change habits. It is true, though, that it's generally more effective to replace habits. But if you have to just kill one, you can do it. Believing you are lucky increases performance. Believing in fate helps you cope. Burnout is depression. You are pessimistic about your job. Find meaning in what you do and double down on positive relationships. When making a plan, imagine someone else being in your exact same position. What would you recommend they do? Have a meaningful morning routine. Be prepared for the worst possible outcome so that whatever happens, you will be prepared. If you feel down or challenged, put what you are up against in perspective. It's likely really not that bad. And if it is bad, remember it could be much worse. Reframe difficult situations as opportunities to grow. Your brain often subconsciously notices meta patterns. Your gut feeling is usually very accurate in things you have a lot of experience with. If you want something, ask. When making deals, ask big. You might get it. Too little stress is just as bad as too much stress. You don't need more information, you need the right information. Stories are dangerous. They are the most powerful way to influence someone. To catch a liar, use cognitive load. You want to reduce how much thinking you need to do and increase the amount they need to do. When you're tired, trust your instincts. Good enough is much better than procrastinating while looking for perfect. You should always be trying to improve, though. If you can't be number one in something, then at least make sure to be clever and have your own style. Telling people what to do doesn't work. Showing them does. Leisure time should be focused. Use it to do personally meaningful things. Regret over what you don't do is stronger than regret over a mistake. Up to a point, of course. Negative stimuli gets processed by the amygdala. Positive or neutral memories get processed by the hippocampus. Sleep deprivation hits the hippocampus harder than the amygdala. The result is that sleep-deprived people fail to recall pleasant memories, yet recall gloomy memories just fine. Probably not one skill exists that can be as encompassing as listening. Listening is a major part of being a social engineer. People who expect more get more. Interviews go better when 1. They're earlier in the day, 2. The weather is good, 3. It's not the same day your biggest competitor was interviewed. Similarity makes people like each other. Copy your interviewer's tone and do all the other similarity emphasizing stuff. Also, start off by asking them why they thought you might be good for the role. That's sly. Most pay raises are given to prevent good employees from leaving, so remember that. People who wrote a summary remembered 50% more material over the long term than people who just repeatedly read. And I can say that's very true. And you listening to this, you're remembering it much better than reading it because that's just how your brain is. People will be likely to say yes to your request if you give them evidence that people just like them have been saying yes to it too. Advice seeking is a surprisingly effective strategy for exercising influence even when you lack authority. Vanilla lowers anxiety. The ability to stay focused will be the superpower of the 21st century. And with that concludes the boil down of the Barking Up the Wrong Tree blog by Eric Barker. I hope you found some real value in this, and I hope you listen to it many times because this is some great stuff, and I hope you achieve your great life goals. Thank you very much.